Hey.
Welcome back to the Holy Shiftball podcast. I'm Bethany, your energetic bestie, alongside my cosmic bestie, Sharon. Hey, Sharon, how are you?
Hey, I am absolutely fantastic. Happy New Year, Bethany.
That's something we need to.
2026.
But is it? It's a Happy New Year, but to me, it feels like, man, there's no new growth, there's no new grass, there's no. To me, I feel like the New Year would be when everything is renewing. So maybe March, April, maybe April Fool's Day.
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting you say that because the Mayan calendar is 13 months, right? And as so, and that would take us to April 1st, which would be the new year. And like if we followed the calendar the way that it's meant to be followed, which we would be celebrating the new year when everything is experiencing regrowth, rebirth, and regenerating itself. So it's interesting that you would say that, because that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it is, it's just, but anyway, well, Happy New Year to you too, sister.
We got new fresh snow overnight. So that's the Mother Nature's way of one more FU. Like, come on, for the love of God, we don't have anywhere to put it anymore. Stop it. She's a giver. What can I say? Mother Nature is a giver.
As a Southerner, I try to put myself into your scenario, your world, and shoveling. At what point, where do you put the snow after the umpteenth, snowfall? I mean, are you just shoveling it over? Where does it go? What do you do with it?
You stack it higher and higher, and it depends on your yard how high the stacks get, right? I mean, if you're fortunate enough to have a big yard, then you can shovel some all winter long and it's not a big deal. But if you have a smaller yard, your drifts can get 6-8 feet high, or your snowbanks, because you just keep throwing it over your head. Yeah. But anyways, hopefully, fingers crossed, that's not happening this year.
You know what? I would be your neighbor, and I'd be that neighbor that has that blowtorch.
Why a blowtorch? What are you going to do?
To melt it, to get it out of my.
No, sweetie, it can't melt. It doesn't melt. No, like you can blowtorch it, yes, but it's going to freeze in a minute anyway. So the blowtorching wouldn't be a good idea. That's all.
Well, that shows
good
me.
Try. Nice try.
Yeah, I don't operate in the coldness that much. That just goes to show that I am a true Southerner.
And that's part of your charm.
Oh, Lord.
So just before we start, we're going to also mention where everybody can see us. You can watch us live on YouTube, Twitter, and I think Kick. The green symbol, I think, is Kick, at Rhode Island Broadcasting, and on YouTube at Hoy Shiftballs. That's where we're broadcasting live. So anytime you want to catch us on a Thursday morning and you want to turn in live, that's where you can find us.
Yes. So go ahead, Sharon.
Bethany, in 2025, what was this episode is called The Year We Chose Shift Over Shit. And what a year it was. So did you have any moments this week that you'd like to talk about? What were your Holy Shiftball moments this week?
Yeah, my Holy Shiftball this week was something pretty magical for me because, with the holiday season, many or some of our guests might not know my only child is in spirit. So when I looked out and I saw his stocking, empty, sitting there, And there's that part of my heart that just has that whole, it's just like, ah, because as his mom, I would love to share a Christmas gift with him, put my arms around him. So what was interesting about, I received one of the most magical gifts that I could really experience, and that was shown to me from a being that gave me so much love, so much compassion. This being just came and put her head on my shoulder and gave me the most love I've ever could experience this holiday season, and that is my dog, Gigi. She has been my biggest healing modality, and you know what? She never says a word. She shows up for me in presence and through her heart, through compassion. She's just excited to be in my presence, and I am just so excited to have her into my life because she has shown me what true love is,
It's
even after
amazing.
heartbreak. Yeah,
Oh, after tremendous, but one of the most
yeah.
devastating heartbreaks you can have in life is to lose your
The
child. So
The
yeah,
only, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for
And
me, yeah.
and what a wonderful bond you have with Gigi. And there's something special about our relationship with our pets. Like it just transcends relationships with humans, because like you say, they can't speak, they just show you the love, and it's through actions, not words, that you realize whether people are true and loving and kind or whether they're not. So, and like Ron says, dogs are special. Yeah.
She's my special heart, she just gives me so much joy and excitement. So I'm just really grateful, for her. So yeah, yeah, love it, love it, love it.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
Sharon, what has been your shit moment in 2025? That I can't.
Okay. Well, I was thinking about this. Because there's been numerous. Like 2025 was just parts of it were absolute shit. So, um, in the Hindu belief system, there are three main gods that play a role in transformation. So, um, Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the preserver, and Shiva is the destroyer. So I channeled my inner Shiva this in 2025 and blew my life right up. But the destroyer is not a negative connotation. It gets rid of what no longer resonates with you in your life, and clears way for the new. So right off the bat, I lost my job. Then I lost my home. Then I almost lost my life. And so it was a very humbling year because I had to ask for help. So I was very, very, very lucky that my family, my siblings helped me out. And it's incredibly humbling. And I don't know where I'd be without them, quite frankly. And the beauty of it is most of them don't watch this, so they'll never know. They know I'm thankful. But yeah, but then I tapped in to the next Lord, and Brahma, the creator. So then I got to experience some real creation in my life, and it was really wonderful. And after July, things started turning around, and life is much, much better. So yeah, but it was a very humbling year, and I'm very grateful for every moment of it, because you grow. The challenges are not obstacles, they are stepping stones to where you need to be. That's like a path of stepping stones. Like, you need to go in this direction so that you can create something better for yourself. So yeah, tapped into my inner Shiva, and I blew everything up. Now
Yes,
it's wide open for the new. And what about you? What was your shit in 2025, Bethany?
girl, let me tell you. Let me take my glasses, girl. So,
Get
okay,
ready
so
for
in
this.
20, yeah, so in 2025, I found that I had didn't realize it till at the latter part of this year that I found that I had a pattern recognition showing back up. Yeah. Give a little contrast of this pattern. When I was a small child, 8 years old, I was diagnosed with ADD. And my parents, took me to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist gave my parents 2 prescriptions of some really narcotic stuff, some Ritalin and Adderall, and which, we know that is nothing more than amphetamine. Now, for me, this taught me that I was not, that something was wrong with me. And so I felt, it wasn't okay for me to show up as Bethany. That, from school, from my parents, from my peers, they all, and I ran that program for, girl, most of my life. And in 2013, I quit drinking. And I did that up until the beginning of 2025. Now, for me, when I put my mind to something, it's pretty, I don't need anybody to say, good job, girl. For me, I've never had to go to a rehab or anything. It's about a life choice, a mindset. So in 2025, I thought, well, I'm gonna have a drink, here and there. So for the first quarter of 2025, I would drink maybe once every 3 months, something like that. Not just second quarter, I noticed that I was starting to drink, maybe once a month.
Mm-hmm.
The third, I started drinking, more than that. And on the fourth quarter, I found that I was drinking, maybe once a week to every, felt like it was going to every day. So what point I was like, okay, I know I was able to have enough growth through my experiences that I've already done this. I've ran this program. I know the outcome. At what point am I going to choose differently? And so my drinking and it is a liability for sure. We always talk about, Sharon, if you're going to do something and you want a different outcome, you got to choose differently.
Yep.
With this, it's a shit moment that I was like, oh my God, I am trying to run this program again. What's going on here? So, what my shit has actually turned into a big shift for me, because I'm going to do something different. And you know what? The undrinking Bethany, the sober Bethany is a lot. I enjoy her a lot more than the drink here and there that leads up, because I have an addictive personality. So I'm going to do something different. Yeah.
Excellent. I love that you recognize the pattern. That's really growth. That's a lot of growth. And from past experience what station that bus ends up in. So,
girl, I mean, I might have a record somewhere that shows where that. I'm not gonna.
Don't incriminate yourself live on the air. Come on,
we've been over this. That last
week. 2 weeks ago, we were doing that. We don't want to do that again.
Yeah, so for me, it's just like that just really brought it home for me, that I am able to expand out. And you know what? No judgment to me. It's just like, it's not about, oh my gosh, I relapsed. No, I just made a choice, and now I'm going to choose something differently, and that's okay. And I'm just excited for, what I'm going to choose for myself in 2026.
That's some self-care right there. That's
yes, baby.
Self-care, because you want to have a better life. You want to have a better experience in life, and you don't want to be medicated, whether it be with prescription medication, alcohol, or, narcotics, whatever kind of, recreational drugs. You're choosing sober life, and that is absolutely amazing. And I applaud you for that. That's wonderful. And the other part of the growth is, again, being aware, but no self-judgment. You're not saying, you dumb bitch, you fell off the wagon. Right. What are you doing? No, it's just like, okay, this little experiment. And now it's time to make your choice.
Yeah. And I feel that, in my past, I would have been like, shaming myself, blaming myself, guilty, less than, and this is from a different standpoint of, oh my gosh, the awareness of myself and what I'm choosing to experience. I have a choice, and and that's amazing. That is just like so empowering to
Absolutely. I was just
myself,
going to say that. Incredibly empowering. Yeah.
because at the end of the day, I'm always going to choose Bethany. You better
Yes.
believe that.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Good for you.
So what? Yeah. So what is your shift
Oh,
for
okay.
2025?
Huge shift in 2025. Um, Attitude of gratefulness, just remaining grateful for every moment, the challenges,
Mm.
the shit, because it's growth. It shows you where you want to go and where you need to be. And gratefulness for everyone around me, the support, emotional, physical, everything, like all the support. And grateful for, I was online one day and I saw this ad for a co-host of a radio show and I needed to shake things up. So I responded to it. And lucky enough, it was a Canadian. It was a lady from Alberta. Her name is Becky. And she's one of the main hosts on Rhode Island Broadcasting. And so we had a conversation and then I met with the producer, Ron, who produces this show. And I started co-hosting and I was very blessed that they were really patient with me because I had delays. I wasn't a very good co-host, but they were really patient and we're like, okay, no, you can do this. We're fine.
Mhm.
So now I'm a lot more comfortable and really, really, really enjoy it. And through that relationship, Ron was looking for podcasts. And so he said, yeah, I'll produce your podcast if you want to have a podcast. And I said, well, I have a co-host already. We've already decided that, had this podcast in the works and we want to do it. So this amazing opportunity came up. And so just staying open and staying grateful and being open to possibilities. And we have a lot of things coming up in 2026 that are going to knock this right out of the park. And, you know, I'm very, very grateful for all those opportunities and for everything. And just my real shift was learning to stay open, not trying to control anything. Don't control the outcome. Just remain open and see what happens.
Mm.
So that was a huge shift for me in 2025. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what's so interesting about that, Sharon, is that, we were actually s- offered a TV show
Yeah. Mhm.
this last week, and still up in the works, don't know what that will bring, but it's so interesting that when you start operating from your heart and without expectations, and it's just like, wow, show me how good, and
All
really,
good. Yeah.
just show
Mhm.
me how good it can get for me.
Yeah.
And it does. It really
Yeah.
just blows your mind, because for my shift in 2025, it was one of travel.
Yes. And that was the other thing. Yeah. Travel. Hmm.
Yeah, tell me about your travels
Oh,
that you experienced.
no, I manifested a 5-week tour of Europe where all I had to pay for was airfare and spending money. All my accommodations were paid for, and it was amazing. And I got to see a lot of ancient sites. And like I was in Rome, I was in Greece, and then after and Spain. Can't forget
Mhm.
Spain, Rome, Spain, and Greece. And then I went on a 2-week cruise with my son, daughter-in-law, and her mother. And very, very grateful for all we experienced on that cruise and for everything I experienced prior. And I was by myself in Rome and in Italy and in Spain. And it was interesting to spend a week in a foreign country by yourself where you don't know the language. And Italy was great because most people spoke English. But in Spain, they could speak English, but if you didn't speak a little Spanish to them, they wouldn't. And so it was interesting because I learned a few phrases and cerveza por favor was one of my faves. And I'm just kidding. But once you tried in your broken way to speak their
Yeah.
language, they would laugh at you and go, okay, this is painful. We will, yeah, we'll just help you out here. Let us speak some English to you. So it was really, really wonderful. I met a lot of amazing people. And so what's interesting about 2025 is actually a year of endings, right? So things that no longer served you or no longer were healthy emotionally, psychologically, physically were ended. So for all of you who have had major endings in your life and you feel them as painful, and I'm not talking about loss of a loved one, I'm talking about endings in other areas of your life. those endings were meant to be, because now you're opening space, because 2026 is a year of creation. It's a 10. Most people refer to it as a 1, but it's a 10. So 1 represents, a year of creation, new beginnings, and following your passion and purpose. And the 0 represents eternity, and co-creation with source. So it's a fire year. So it's all about being passionate and fiery and being propelled into your destiny. And so it's really, really interesting, because for me in 2025, there was a lot of endings, a lot. And
wasn't it the year of the snake? And the snake sheds, it sheds its skin. So,
exactly. Why it coincided with the year of endings. That's a great point. Exactly. And now it's the year of the horse running free, and
the fire horse.
the fire horse, which was the year I was born, baby. So that's why I've been so fiery passionate all my life, because I was born in the year of the fire horse. So it's like, holy heck, here we go. I'm stepping into it, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. And I wouldn't want to be creating all of this without any other than with you. I'm so happy, so grateful to have you in my life. This is amazing. And we're going to rock it. We're rocking it in 2026, baby. So get ready.
Well, girl, I'm fixing to tell you something, that there's not a rein in any horse's mouth that can pull back what we're fixing to create. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. I wanted to bring up just a really quick something in your travels that absolutely moved me. And when you called me and you were on the ship and you were like, Bethany, you will not believe what I saw today. And I was like, oh, what? And you told me that you saw what? Some pods of dolphins. Now, not just, please share that with me.
Okay, so my son and I went out on when we were in the Azores. It's a beautiful place. If anyone wants to go there, I highly recommend it. It's absolutely gorgeous. But so we went out on a whale watching and dolphin sighting expedition. But what's interesting about this is we were with researchers. So they take people out, but as they're seeing this marine life, they have high-powered cameras. They're documenting it. They're documenting what species they are, how many there are in each pod, all of the things. So it was really interesting, because they gave us a lot of information we wouldn't normally have received if we were out with just, a normal sightseeing tour. So they had told us when we started, we saw about 50 dolphins this morning. So we'll see some dolphins. We can't guarantee how many, but we haven't seen whales for a long, long time. And they said, so we're not sure if they changed their migration patterns and they're just not in this area anymore, or if they're slowly becoming extinct. We're not sure what's going on. We're researching that and, talking to people around the globe and other areas to see where they're seeing whales and what the patterns are. So, okay. So I'm very spiritual and attuned with the other side, I guess. And I just knew we were going to see some. So I asked silently in my mind, please show us a whale. We at least want to see one whale. Let's, because that's what I was there for. I was there to see whales. I've seen lots of dolphins, love dolphins. They're amazing, but the whales are spectacular. They're stunning. They're huge. It's just a whole new presence of nature. It's amazing. So we didn't see one whale. We didn't see 2 whales. We saw 3 whales. There was 3 of them, and the researchers were going crazy. And they said, okay, they're only going to breach the surface for about a minute, 2 minutes. And we got to watch them for 4 to 5 minutes. They were like, you guys have no idea how lucky you are. We never see them breach the surface this long. They're resting so that then they'll swing their tail up and dive back deep. And they rest, get the energy to go deep, and then they can be under the water for a while. And they said, but you'll only see like this much of their tail, a little fin, and that's what gives them the energy and propels them down. So I said, universe, I'd really like to see more of the tail. Can you show us more of the tail? Sure enough, the first one was just the fin. The second one was a little bit more of the tail. And they were like, wow, that's a lot of the tail. You guys have no idea. And they're snapping pictures and talking. And then the third one was this great big granddaddy mother whale. And the whole lots of the tail came out, and it went deep, and they about lost their mind. It was, my son and I are looking at each other. They were just flipping out and taking pictures. They're like, we never see that much of the tail. This is incredible. Blah, blah, blah. So that was really, really cool. And then with regards to the dolphins, we saw over 1,000 dolphins. There were dolphins from the time we hit the ocean until the time we came back. And we were out there for over 3 hours, and there were pods. They were like, there's 150 dolphins in this pod. There's 100 dolphins in this pod. There's, 85 dolphins in this pod. And we must have seen 20 pods. It was crazy. There was dolphins the whole time, 4 different species, and they were jumping beside the boat. You could reach out and touch them like it. And the whole time they were like, you guys have no idea. This species of dolphins is a little rare, especially at this time of year. And they were taking all their pictures and doing all this documentation and recording all of this. And it was really, really incredible. So seeing over 1,000 dolphins, I was talking to my son after, and we were saying, okay, I said, so do you think we saw like 500 or 600 dolphins? He said, oh my God, Mom, add up the pods. We saw this. We saw at least, 1,000, 1,200 dolphins today. And that's unheard of. Like they were saying, this is unheard of. We have never experienced this before. So it was really, really cool experience to be that tied in with nature and have that amazing experience for everybody on the boat. It was wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
was very, very cool. Very grateful for that day and that moment. And upon reflection, my son Reese and I were talking, and it was the highlight of our trip because it was just surreal, really surreal to be surrounded by that much marine life.
Yeah, when you called me and told me about it, it just absolutely expanded my heart. I was like, oh, wow, that is just so cool because I got to experience, dolphins this year too, and they're just magical beings, and they really are, and any of God's creation, source, universe, however anybody would like to label that, it's a powerhouse when you get to interact and feel their presence in your life, and
Yes.
it's just. It makes you feel so grateful. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
So enough about me, Bethany. What was your shift moments in 2025?
Well, 2025 for me was a shift in my travels as well, because not only did I get to go to South America, go to Venezuela, Honduras, Belize, and I got to meet some of the most interesting, fantastic people. And I went to some of these major, pyramids, and to feel that energy of the ancients, it's just, it does something, I got to saw some monkeys, and it was cool. It was cool. And I was in a conference, and so I got to meet new people that shifted things in my reality. Also, I got to go to the Los Angeles International Film Festival, Los Angeles Tribune, and I walked the red carpet. Yeah, I walked the red carpet, and yes, I got to meet some movers and shakers, so I was really excited for that. I also went to Sedona to see our one of our great, how we actually met through a wonderful organization, and got to go out there and see the Red Rocks. Yes, the creator and founder, Zinka, and just experience, some CMEs, just really Sedona. If anybody hasn't been to Sedona, that is one magical town.
Yes, it's incredible. The energy there is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then I traveled to Daytona Beach several times. Got to do, 4th of July and Thanksgiving out there. So yeah, my shift is that, I was able to create all of these magical experiences and meet all of these wonderful people that, have allowed me to go within and see myself in them. And sometimes, that some of them haven't just been, woo, all excited, but some things, everything happens for a reason. And, I'm just excited for everything that I experienced in 2025 and looking forward to shifting more of myself in 2026. So, yeah, I've had a wonderful year. I am so grateful for it all. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so we both channeled our inner Shiva and destroyed some things, and then we channeled our inner Brahma, and we created a bunch of amazing, wonderful things for ourselves. And Oh, it's all Brahma all day in 2026. We're just creating, and it's going to be, it is amazing. Not going to be, it is amazing.
So, Sharon, who
Hmm?
do we have on the show next week? This
Oh,
is
next week.
what's going to be interesting.
We are starting off with a bang next week. Holy moly. We have Vincent Jenna. He's a world-renowned psychic medium, author, spiritual teacher, speaker. He's been on NBC, CBS, ABC. He is world renowned, and we are starting him off on January 8th, which is my mom's birthday. And she passed over in 1997. So it's just special that we have him on the show to start it off, and on her birthday. Yeah, as psychic medium. So it'll be a very, very cool show. I encourage everyone to watch us on our platforms and tune in live on Holy Shiftballs on YouTube, and at Rhode Island Broadcasting on YouTube. And you can watch us live on YouTube, Kick, and Twitter at Rhode Island Broadcasting, and YouTube at Holy Shiftballs. And then that way you can enter in some questions that you want to ask Vincent Jenna, the psychic medium, and he can Rumble. Sorry, the green one's Rumble at Rhode Island Broadcasting. And he can answer the questions that you have. And you don't have to say who you are. You can just throw a question out there and he'll answer it. And it'd be really, really cool. We really encourage interaction because everyone knows enough about us. We don't need to ask the questions. We can have our audience ask some questions.
The thing about Vincent is he is a powerhouse.
Yes.
He comes, and this is going to be one heck of a conscious conversation that I am looking forward to asking a bunch of questions to him, for sure. Well, Sharon, so much, and thank you for sharing all of your shifts and shits this 2025.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to all of the fun we're going to have in 2026. And remember, when life kicks you in the balls, be sure to tune into your Holy Shiftball podcast,
where we turn that shit into a shift.
All right. Toot-toot.
Happy New Year, everybody. Love you. Bye-bye.